Hello, my name is Paul Anthony.
And I'm CP.
And in today's head-to-head fragrance battle, we have one of the most hotly contested topics. Charles-Philippe and I are in distinctly different camps over this one.
Yeah.
I'm a big Creed Aventus fan. I'm actually on my third bottle now, so I obviously feel it represents great value for money for my fragrance needs. And I don't think Charles-Philippe particularly agrees with me, and I think he's in the Club de Nuit camp.
To a certain degree, yes. Well, full disclaimer, I kind of disapprove of the principle of cloning a fragrance. I think that's cheating. But then again, there is a product here that does offer a very similar experience for a tenth of the price.
Well, less than a tenth.
Less than a tenth of the price. So
Maybe
it is quite tempting and is hard to look past that, really.
Yeah, so in the description below we have specific videos where Charles-Philippe and Charles go through the actual fragrances. So he and I both do a review on Creed Aventus, and he's done one on his own of Club de Nuit. We've both been wearing the fragrances for some time now. I've been wearing Creed, I'd say, for like 2 or 3 years. And after Charles-Philippe's original review, I actually bought a bottle of this to see what it's like. And to be fair, I was actually quite pleasantly surprised. However, it has not convinced me yet to kind of go away from Creed Aventus. We want to kind of give a high level of what the fragrances are. So with Creed Aventus, we're looking from the head. We get most batch numbers do get a nice kind of pineapple opening.
Yeah, that's the opening.
You know, you get a bit of green apple. Once we get into the the heart, we're looking at birch, patchouli, rose, jasmine, and then in the base, we're getting amber, vanilla, and oak moss. Time of year I wear this fragrance is always spring, summer, and sometimes kind of for more sophisticated evening events. Sillage, projection, longevity, I think these are all great performers. The one thing I would note about Creed is not to overdo it, because I think it is a very strong, powerful fragrance, and I've been called out a couple of times for overwearing it, so I'm a bit overzealous with spraying, so maybe like 2 or 3 pumps is like more than enough. You know, third-party feedback's always been really positive. The only downside I've maybe ever got was maybe I got a bit of a snarky comment from someone that it was like, oh, an expensive fragrance. That was you.
That is outrageous.
the man who drinks champagne for breakfast. Oh, and then obviously we're looking at Creed Aventus. Creed's a house, Aventus is the name, and it was released in 2010. And it cost $425 for 100 ml.
That's RRP, and if you're not in the sort of grey frag market where the community tends to exchange bottles and decants because they kind of are aware.
But the guy who wouldn't spend $425 on a fragrance is trying to convince me to buy the 17-ounce 500 ml bottle next time.
Because it's better value for money.
To be fair,
you get 5 times more for like
twice the price.
Yeah.
So and then obviously he'll want his share,
my cut.
His cut of the proceeds.
as an advisor. As a consultant.
Okay, so how are we doing with yours?
Meanwhile, Club de Nuit man is from the Saudi Arabian or United Arabic Emirates company Armaf, and it was released in 2015. So a good 5 years later after the original, the OG Creed Aventus. In terms of composition, we're looking at something that's eerily similar, and this is why we're having this discussion today, except that I find that rather than having a bergamot in the head, here this is much sharper, much crisper, and in some degree somewhat cloying in the head with lime, and instead of the fruity pineapple, you get more of a herbaceous pineapple leaf. It's much more green, and it's less on that sort of succulent juice.
That's the big difference for me off the head, is like lime with a touch of pineapple, and then this is pineapple with that bergamoty lime kind of.
Exactly.
But in a way they're similar, but there's definitely that more limey versus pineapple-y note. But anyway, so.
Well, it's in the heart I find that they resemble each other the most, and you do have this birch, rose, and jasmine accord. And
but this is like a rugged version, and this is Sorry.
No, yeah.
I know.
No. It's right. I was actually going to get to that point when we get to the bass, because that's where you really start to notice the difference in refinement. Because here we do also have amber gris, patchouli. Actually, no, the patchouli is in the heart of Aventus. But here we do have in the bass amber gris, patchouli, and vanilla, and then you start to really get this aldehydic, synthetic fattiness, this kind of greasy note that you expect from cheaper fragrances such as Davidoff Cool Water is one of the most well-known aldehydic men's fragrances. And
Still a great fragrance, but I mean, for the price point, you know, so...
But it does have this kind of greasy, almost like deep fat fryer note if you get your nose too close. Obviously, it's not going to be something you notice at a distance, but if you're really trying to look for it, you will find it, where you will not get this whatsoever with Aventus. And
I've got the respective fragrances at the other side of the table. Had them on the hand now for, I'd say, about an hour. I mean, but they're actually very, very similar.
They are scary.
Like
similar.
if you were like, they're very freaking close. It's like like kind of like worrying almost.
I mean, objectively, Aventus is without a doubt the most refined and the better fragrance overall, and it was the first one. So,
well, the £800 gorilla in the room is the price point, but we'll get that to the end of the video.
Yeah. Moving on to seasonality, here we're looking at something that's very similar. This is very spring, summer, more summer than spring, but I wouldn't wear this during the fall or winter like you could possibly get away with Aventus. I think that it's far too rugged, as you were saying earlier, to be able to get away with that kind of knowing the rule and breaking the rule.
I wouldn't say it's unrefined. I know you didn't say unrefined, but this is refined.
Yeah.
You know, but that's
it's
a slight distinction.
So
I mean, I know this is
a lovable rogue.
Yeah, so just like you, Charles.
In terms of performance, we're looking at something that's very similar. The projection sillage are excellent. And in terms of longevity, another fragrance that will last for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the big shocks for me as well. Not only did it have a good sensory experience, the longevity was there as well.
Exactly, which you wouldn't expect from a cheaper fragrance. It's actually debatable which one of these will last the longest. I think this one, Aventus, will easily last the longest as a superior fragrance before falling into a skin scent. Whereas the final sort of glimmer you get from Club de Nuit Intense will be a lot less noticeable and not quite as attractive. You'll probably fall into that really aldehydic skin scent rather than being able to pick out the amber gris or the patchouli. But I digress. Again, you shouldn't be overzealous in applying this because, again, it is somewhat a power frag. You covered third-party feedback as well, briefly.
I mean, yeah, we can do. I mean, I've had good response from it. You know, probably not as strong as a response as this, but I have worn Creed Aventus for 3 years now, so I've obviously got a lot longer. I've only had this for a couple of months. I've had no negative feedback on that. And we head into the winter months, I haven't worn it as much, but yeah, positive feedback for sure.
Yeah, generally positive feedback. I have had some people that point out that it smells a bit synthetic. Certainly my wife curled her nose up at it, but she is quite the fragrance snob, and not in a negative way. She has very refined taste, so if something is a little bit synthetic, she obviously
had one clanger.
Cheeky.
Ruthless.
Cheeky.
Brutal.
Who does he think he is?
Just saying how I see it, you know. So, shall we quickly go over, you know, the impressions, time of day, age, and all that stuff? Do you want to take your time on
absolutely.
too much?
So this is a much more youthful fragrance, I'd say, than Aventus, without a shadow of a doubt. This is something that could probably be worn by someone in their late teens, in their 20s, and even their 30s, 40s, 50s, etc. Because it shares that versatility. But I think because of its sort of more rougher finish, it's going to be much more appropriate and much more affordable for a lower audience. But anyway, I'm sort of rambling.
And this,
on,
just to
there's
note,
so
this
much
was
to
the
say.
made in France
Yeah.
version as well. And if you want to know the batch numbers of these, it's in the Creed Aventus review below.
As for this, you can see the batch number either in the written review or the video that are also linked below. But this
I
was
suppose we can actually just type in the batch numbers below as well.
yeah, in the description. But
We
this
could have
is-
probably just said the batch numbers.
Yeah,
by
well, this is the 2018 May, I think it was released in version made in France. Where these, I'm not exactly sure.
I'm not sure of the dates, but we've got the batch numbers.
We can find that for you.
So,
In terms of time of day, this is really an all-day fragrance.
in the spring, summer especially.
Occasion, I think this is a much more casual fragrance than Aventus for the same reasons I mentioned in the age range. And masculinity, because of its very contemporary, we do have a masculine birch tar and a masculine ambergris, and the patchouli, which is quite earthy in there as well, but nevertheless with a very fruity head that kind of makes it less.
We were trying to give like a high-level review of this fragrance, but I think Charles definitely gone down the rabbit hole
I guess
because he loves it.
I love it.
So-
I do get really
But
into fragrance.
I think if we
apologise.
cut to the chase,
Yeah.
I'm going to just jump in and just say I'm going to give my opinion on who and what these fragrances are good for, and then if you could counter argument that would be
sure.
great. So, in my opinion, I think that Club de Nuit is a great clone. Again, I'm like Charles, I'm not a big fan of clones. I think it's better to be original. But if you're okay with clones, I think that's a great clone for a gateway for either a younger person or someone who's looking to try out a Creed-esque fragrance. If, however, you are into your fragrances and you want a sophisticated fragrance that can work potentially all year round, and especially in spring and summer, I definitely believe the value proposition of buying the original and arguably the much more sophisticated, refined, and I actually prefer the pineapple note over the lime in the head especially, then Creed Aventus is definitely the way to go. Pleasantly surprised personally with what was on offer here, especially at the 12th of the price, 12th of the price point of Club de Nuit over Creed. However, that has not distracted me or turned me off buying what will hopefully be my 4th bottle once I get rid of this one.
Yeah. Well, my opinion wouldn't be too dissimilar to that. Personally, as someone who's never bought Creed Aventus and owning Club de Nuit Intense Man, I would struggle to justify splashing out $400 or €400, whatever, on this fragrance, because the experience is very similar. Nevertheless, I am aware that this is a much more casual, less refined, less polished version of it. Another argument that I would have would be that if you're a man of means and you don't really care about the price, obviously get the Aventus and don't bother with this. But if you're somebody who's much more concerned with the amount they spend on fragrances, then by all means go for the Armaf Club de Nuit Intense. You won't be disappointed. Nevertheless, if you can, go for the Aventus. But again, I'd also suggest, why not both? The great thing about having both
that's
is
a good suggestion.
you have Aventus for the more special occasions, when you really want to smell good, if you're going out on a date, or even black tie. You'd wear this for black tie.
I mean, I think that might be like a more quote-unquote budget-conscious option. Just rethinking what you just said, I'd say, because they're so close, and I'm a Creed fan anyway, I'd probably just stick with Creed. I do have several other spring summer fragrances that I'm in love with, like Aqua de Palme, like Cedro. You know, there's so many others that I would want to wear, and to keep such similar fragrances in a rotation for me, again, considering I'm fine with the price point and the value for money of Creed, then I'd probably say no. But maybe if like Creed is your super special fragrance that you save for only special occasions, then maybe having a bottle of this in the rotation totally makes sense.
Yeah, you use it as a casual fragrance on a daily basis. There you go, boom, you've got your signature, sort of global signature scent sorted, and you're able to save money when you can.
Yeah, especially if this is like the one scent you do like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, you and I like to rotate. I mean,
Yeah, we do.
We probably have 50 fragrances each, and we have seasonal, time of day, event driven, everything, but we're fragrance geeks, you know? So, but again, if you're looking to have a pretty tight niche and, as you say, a signature style scent, then that might be a good option. However, I'm still Creed 100% of the way.
I have a lot of love for Armaf, even though I kind of have difficulty with the concept of cloning. Aventus I have a lot of respect for. I'm really torn. I'm leaning towards Club de Nuit because, you know,
Well, it's pretty funny here because we've just kind of rambled around in circles probably 3 times over the same topic, so this is very difficult, and this is what
it
I
is
suppose the fragrance community
challenging subject to
has
discuss.
kind of
it is the source of endless debate on the
endless debate. So if you would want to contribute to that debate, please use the comment section below, whether you're in my camp, Charles' camp, or some of the 22 other possibilities that we've probably mentioned in this video.
I mean,
We'd love to hear
the
your
comment section is virgin territory,
True.
so you know, go for it. Let's start it here. Why not?
Definitely go for it. So we'd love to hear those comments below. Please check out the other reviews and resources we have here on YouTube, as well as bespokeunit.com/fragrance. You may not be aware, but you may enjoy that Bespoke Unit covers many other lifestyle topics such as champagne, cigars, watches, shoes, suits, and travel, as well as a few others. Please like this video if you did like it and found it helpful, useful, frustrating, whatever it was. Just give it a like or a dislike. Any positive constructive feedback is welcome. Please subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications. With all of that being said, my name is Paul Anthony,
And I'm CP.
and we'll see you next time.
Take care.